where we help transformational leaders, coaches, healers, teachers highly monetize their high spiritual work. And pardon my delay, my hairstylist is in and out of business. And Jesus Christ, ponytail, and then I had it out, and okay, enough is enough. Almost. Almost. So today is inspo and spiritual fact. Inspiration, that's what I mean. Inspiration and spiritual fact is what I'll be using to communicate more than enough. Hmm. So word on the street is spiritual melanin coaches and those of us who are doing melanin, doing transformational work, and what I call signature to you spiritual work. Oh, the air feels good. It's garbage day, so you might be hearing the garbage trucks go by. Word on the street is that many of you don't actually believe that you can create a reality of more than enough, whether that more than enough is financially or with a deeply, robust team that supports your mission and your vision. And it's so time for my hair to get done, you guys. I'm so distracted by my hair right now. I'm so distracted by my hair right now. So distracted. I'm going to be getting extensions again, too. So I am an example of, and I will also speak to the necessity of building from the heart. See, when you build from the heart, all the other statistics and what's normal and all that literally becomes irrelevant. That's why, if you, in the church, in the Black church, there's talk of like supernatural happenings, right? Supernatural is what happens in the quantum field, period. Supernatural things happen in the quantum field. Quantum field doesn't care about oppression. It doesn't respond to everything that keeps melanin folk in bondage in thought and in ways of being. The quantum field doesn't. Your color is irrelevant. Your background is irrelevant. All the mistakes you made is irrelevant. Your education level is irrelevant. All that is irrelevant in the quantum field. In the quantum field, all the stuff that has Black melanin is what I'm using, transformational leaders, coaches, teachers, healers, etc. There's so much to share today. So I'm so honored and thankful to be here. Hey, Olivia. Hey, Asiri. Hey, YouTube. Holla. So I have this dream. I've had this dream for so long of being on a yacht, a Black-owned yacht. Sexy as when I say sexy, I mean my body just yells sex. Like I get horny looking at my own body. Okay. With other sexy, melanin, spiritual, big thinking, big living, big heart-led melanin leaders and coaches and teachers, male and female. And we are in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Saint Tropez or Nice, somewhere in the south of France. And I've had these dreams and very vivid dreams of parties, lush parties, where all of us are doing our work in the world and are making extraordinary money because you have become what we teach you here to become here at Melanin Sovereignty. And so today, oh, yes, yes. And every day, right? I'm doing this today, but this is what we're doing here at Melanin Sovereignty. For those of you who click the link with this video and join our community, our email community, and uh, move forward with us, and who care about all the material things that you can do with money. I mean, and that includes all building your freaking business. How about that? Hiring somebody to do all the administrative stuff that you hate, and not only that you hate, but that you won't be able to continue to do once you start really getting past about the $200,000 mark. Okay. And you really care about travel. Like I'm waiting for French borders to open. I'm ready to leave the United States. I'm done. Like I'm even looking at going to spend, because they're supposed to be assessing every 2 weeks. The EU is supposed to be every 2 weeks assessing if they're going to open their borders to Americans. So I'm watching that. Hey, Alexis. So in the meantime, I might go down to like Pismo Beach for like a month or something. I'm considering, because it's so time to change the scene. And really, where this is for the last 5 summers, I have been in the south of France. Like, do you care about vacationing in the south of France as a tradition? Maybe it's Jamaica for you. Maybe it's South Africa. Maybe it's taking your mother on a month-long trip to Bali. Is it that? What is it? Is it to be able to give your mother $2,000 a month with ease so her life can be easier? Is it to be able to take your dad and your children and your sisters on an all expense paid trip? What is the thing? And I mean like the full thing, like the full thing. I have a huge vision. Huge. And one of them that includes you is being on this freaking yacht in the south of France, making your own freaking money. Hey, Fernando, being in the south, so, all right, I'm going to get into it. And I'm going to enter this next phase of the discussion by sharing, oh my God, a story, and how I can stand here before you guys, not just wish for you and hope and, like inspire kind of energy, but I know it because I've done it, because I am it, and I've done it over and over and over again. And why God has called me and set it up for me to be able to speak here, because nobody can speak to this the way I can. Nobody. I'm ordained for it. Beyond just my life experience, it's also in the template of who I am. That's what makes me a master. That's what makes every other master a master. The template that they were born with. You don't become a master by studying. It's how you were born. Okay. We have been called the 144,000. There's language for it, but when you are it, you know it. You don't argue with people about it. You don't even feel the need to argue with people about it. It just is, and you know it is so. And anybody else who wants to fuss about it, you recognize that that's their issue, not yours. All right, so here's what happened. So like about a decade ago, I started seeing, like many of you guys started seeing Beyonce and Jay-Z yachting in the south of France. Remember that? Who remembers that? Tell me in the comments. When they were young in their relationship, Jay-Z had the bald head, looking like that dude, right? And Beyonce was her young 20 whatever year old self, right? And she used to wear the cute little bikinis. You guys remember those photos, like from 2010, when they started yachting in the south of France together? And I would see them in like People and Us magazine, and it would say Jay-Z and Beyonce off the coast of Saint. You remember a series, right? Jay-Z and Beyonce in Saint Tropez, and it would show pictures of them like getting off the yacht. It would show them like walking past boutiques and things. And I started looking, and I was like, this looks fabulous. What is this? And as I would look at it, I would think to myself, Well, if they're there, I definitely can't afford it. Let me just go ahead and leave that right there. That's how I was thinking. I can't afford that. And I would keep seeing them there. Remember, they kept like every freaking year, Jay-Z and Beyonce were on a yacht in the south of France. And here they are again in the south of France. And here they are again. And I used to be like, oh my God, I want to go, but I can't afford that. I can't afford that. That's not happening. And so 2010, I said, I can't afford it. 2011, I can't afford it. 2012, I can't afford it. 2013, look at all this wasted time. Years wasted. Have you ever sat or laid down or sat down and just looked at the last decade of your life and you start, just having memories and you realize where you wasted 2 years, 4 years, 7 years, like, and then you feeling older and you just get mad, just, you know what I mean? And then it pushes you to go do all the shit that you've been telling yourself you can't do all of this time. So I didn't feel that at the time. I ended up feeling it later when I started to look back on, okay, what was I doing this year? And what was I doing this year? And what was I doing this year? Just counting up what I've created, the life that I've created. And it was 2014 because I came into the industry in 2011. There's tons of stories I've shared and will continue to share. There's always more. But 2014 is the year that I got serious about the money part. Prior to 2014, I was just another Black chick who was powerful, wouldn't admit it, had a lot to offer, didn't realize it, was in all the different white communities, online and offline, where nobody could see me, where I thought that me just wanting to help people and being a good person was enough to make good money. I was not aware that there was a such thing as a relationship with money. I did not know there was a such thing as a money coach. I mean, there's just so much that I did not know. And I didn't know that I didn't know it. That's the thing. It's like when you see somebody doing something, you're like, oh, they don't know. And they probably don't even know that they don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's why here at Melanin Sovereignty, it's what we teach you is from years of experience. Like I teach my team things to teach you things. And so in 2014, I got serious about service and money being equal. Before it was like service, but the money was down here. And the truth is, you can't really serve anybody from an empty place. You cannot really serve when you are wondering about rent and food and all the other basic things. And so I decided to make making money and service equally important. And I remember told you guys the story of how I got my first $65,000 client. And I had gotten other clients before the 65,000 client, but that was the big thing that, just the work that it took me. And it just took so much work. You guys, it's going to take inner work. Not people out here marketing all over the place, thinking that if they keep posting, if who you are, what you're calling in, if you're not clear about the exact number or amount, the day that you're looking to bring it in, which way is going to come in, right? What channels do you have open? And you're in a true receptivity position. Like where is it? Like you're open, like everything is set up for you to have it. For somebody to contact you and you to be, when it comes, you're not surprised because you have been working to have this inside of you, right? This is what we're teaching you at Melanin Sovereignty in the vein of your spiritual signature work, right? And so I've been doing all this work. I got this big client and dreams that I had pushed away just started flooding my consciousness. Saint Tropez, the thing that I have been telling myself I can't afford. Bubbled up, bubbled up, bubbled up. I had always wanted to go live in Italy. Bubbled up, bubbled up, bubbled up, bubbled up. All these other things I wanted to do for my sister and for my mom. Bubbled up, bubbled up, bubbled up, bubbled up. This is what happens for you when you start doing the wealth consciousness work to have more than enough. When you're on the yacht, you're not just visiting a yacht. You are in the frequency of, you are creating the money because you have enrolled with Melanin Sovereignty and learned the ways of thinking, being, speaking, and acting so that creating more than enough money becomes normal. And a side conversation to be had at another time is even deciding what is normal and right for you, what will be normal and right for you. Because not everybody cares about 100, like truly cares about having $100,000 clients. Like they think that's nice and amazing, but is it in your heart to serve at that level? Is it in your heart to work with someone over, Lord knows, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, where the fee is $100,000 and you work with them in that way? Is that in your heart to do? Only you know. Or or is 20,000 in your heart? Is 10,000 in your heart? Is 5,000? The frequency in which you wish to be in connection with the client, the level at which you wish to serve, the depth, the value, the transformation for you at a heart level, at a deep sense level. What is the price tag associated with that? That's a whole other conversation when it comes to business and pricing. How do you choose? You don't do what she doing just because she doing it. What is in you? I started to talk about this, how signature this is. All right, so let me continue the story. So within like a 48-hour window, I went and booked everything for Saint Tropez, this place I had been telling myself for years I couldn't afford. I booked a one-way ticket to Milan, Italy. I paid for a trip to Miami for my sister. I mean, baby, I was on the other side and I was not coming back. So I get to Saint Tropez. This is here, right here, what I'm getting ready to share. The frequency, what's available for you on the other side of you saying yes to your version of more than enough. Whatever, right? Whatever yours is, right? So you fill in the blank. And allowing that to lead you, allowing that to compel you. So Saint Tropez is about an hour and a half from the airport, which is Nice. Nice is the airport that you fly into to get to Saint Tropez. There's another airport too, but it's a much smaller airport. A lot of it is for private planes and things like that. But the main airport is Nice. Okay, so to get to Saint Tropez, obviously you got to drive there, right? Or a helicopter, but most people drive. And so I had done all my research, so I knew all of these details, right? So I ended up getting a Mercedes car like I'm doing it big because my whole work from 2014 until now has been, and I don't honestly do it so much now because it's now my first nature way of being, but for years it was about moving in a way that reminded my cells, that reminded my deep consciousness, that reminded my whole being that this is who we are now. That elevated states, that high frequency, that large amounts of money is our natural state now. That's why I keep saying it's a lifestyle, 2 years minimum, because that one-way ticket to Italy was to immerse myself. I wasn't just going to go on a trip to Italy and come back home and talk about it and basically be mostly the same. No, here at Melanin Sovereignty, my deep in my heart is to have you change at a core and permanent level, to where it is your first nature way of being, to have more, to be more, to be able to hold and wield more. You see? So I decided I'm just doing it big. I booked a photographer. I'm getting ready to do a photo shoot. I don't care how much it costs. And this dude was like in LA. He was from France, but he was in LA doing shoots, and he came to Saint Tropez to do this shoot with me. I went all in. I got a place that was central, so it was more higher price. I mean, I went in, right? So I get my Mercedes, hour and a half to Saint Tropez, right? And so Saint Tropez is a former fisherman's village, okay? Bridget Bardot, who was a famous French actress, is the one who made it this hot, opulent celebrity hotspot. Prior to then, it was just a fisherman's village. So it was just a village on the water where people fished and lived, just like a lot of other obscure French villages that nobody knows about, right? So then it became this popular opulent thing. So actually get into Saint Tropez, you are passing a lot of water because it's surrounded by water, right, on the Mediterranean Sea. So when you are going into the village, it's very distinct and obvious that you're going into the village because the streets narrow. You have to go over a hump, and then there's only one way in. There's only one way in and one way out of Saint Tropez. And so the way in, you end up passing a whole. I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills. Here it is. There's a hotel called Hotel de Paris that you pass when you're coming into Saint Tropez. And the awareness that you're entering this domain, there's a frequency that's in Saint Tropez. And I remember we drove in, we hit the village, and it became very clear to me that this is it. Like, and so we drove in, and so you have to slow down when you go into the village because it's a very walkable village. There's cars, but it's a lot of walking people too. So you're not driving like, right, you got to drive slow, right? So we're driving slow, and he's looking for. I'm trusting him because I don't know where I am. He's taking us to the address, right? And I'm just looking around, and I just have this feeling that this is what I kept myself from all these years. Look at this, Naima. Look at what you kept yourself from all these years. With I can't afford it. What? You always had it. Spiritual fact is that if it is in your heart, this is why I keep referring to the heart. Not what everybody else is doing, not what CNN said, not what all of this fear mongering going on right now. What did your heart tell you? What did it tell you? What do you know to be true in your heart that you're meant to do, that you're meant to have, that you're meant to be? Tell me in the comments. Is somebody willing to tell me what they know they're meant to have, do, or be? Like materially? Is there a certain, you know, way of working with a client and a particular price that you have really just personally felt called that maybe you haven't shared yet? Or is there somewhere you know that you're meant to live, that you know is going to cost X amount of dollars to live there? Is somebody willing to put that in the comments right now? I'm looking for who's going to put that, even if you're watching as a replay, right? And so we pulled up to the studio I'd rented and we got out the car and we were on a narrow lane. It's a narrow Central, it's very village like. I love French villages, love. And I just got out the car and I just was looking like, oh my God, like I was in another world. And the photo shoot was fabulous. That's when I was wearing my hair twisted. I don't know if any of you guys, well, some of you obviously have seen, but this was in 2015, the summer of 2015 in Saint Tropez. I did a photo shoot where my hair was twisted, and we went all over the village doing photos. We ended up finishing at having lunch together at Christian Dior has an outdoor cafe in Saint Tropez, and the streets are just lined with every designer you've heard of, all the designers that are in France only that you probably will never hear about unless you go there. And just opulence dramatically abounds in Saint Tropez. It's dripping with opulence, dripping, saturated. The wealth is rich. You feel it. You ever been in a place where you can feel the money? You can feel it's just, that's what I want for you. Want is a word of black, so pardon me. That's what I wish for you, particularly as a darker hued melanin being. It is such a glorious affront to be in a place like Saint Tropez where you don't see us unless you're Michael Jordan or Jay-Z and Beyonce or Holly Robinson Pete. I saw her there, you know, or your Beyonce's mother, right? I've been to Saint Tropez countless times in the south of France, countless times. Oh, I have never, not once, seen a Black woman there of leisure aside from myself, of leisure. I saw Black women who were prostituting. I saw Black women who were working at the shops and restaurants. I didn't see not one Black woman aside from myself. And then I went another time with my sister. Never. So it is an affront, a glorious affront. It's a reclamation. It is a reclamation. It is sending a message to have a Black owned yacht sitting on the pier in St. Tropez loaded with melanin transformational leaders. It is an affront. You understand what I'm saying? My sister just texted me something about her buying from a Black owned something in South Carolina. Olivia said, no, order gifts. Oh, she ordered gifts from a Black owned in South Carolina. My sister just texted me. No, not that clear. Just at the stage of embracing, knowing my life requires more. And so I ended up doing a video actually in my studio toward the end of the day after the photo shoot. And I actually just saw it in my memories last week about this is I was sharing with folks as I'm sharing with you. This is what is possible. That was 2015. Okay. In 2013, I had $7 to my name. I was sleeping on my mother's couch. She was paying my cell phone bill was $70 a month. She was paying it. 2 years later, 2 freaking years later, I'm in the south of France. And by the way, I didn't mention that I brought $10,000 cash with me to Saint Tropez. I literally took the $100 bills, laid them out all over the counter in my studio, put a glass of rosé and my gold earrings right there in the middle of it and took a picture. And I still have that picture to remind myself, to be able to show you that you can be depressed today, that you can have never charged more than $125 an hour for your services, that you could be struggling to pay your rent today. And in 2 years, you could be wherever you choose to be, Saint Tropez and otherwise. Take that in. Take that in. 2 years from today. How fast have the last 2 years gone by? This is 2020. How quickly did 2018 to 2020 happen? This is, to me, even more fulfilling for those of you who work through a lens of spirituality, where the interpretations of the Bible that have been taught to you, where dominant consciousness in Black culture separates spirituality and money. What? Has anybody ever, have you ever really sat down and thought about the logic behind what spirituality means and what money means? Just first of all, just look at the facts of things, of what money actually is. And then look at the core, having understanding of as within, so without, having understanding of creation and manifesting, and the relationship with you, who you are, your faculties of creation and universal law. Like, how does one even because they don't know. I can see how someone who's not aware would do that. But you who's truly aware, I don't mean, listen, I could go deep off into this. I'll pause that for now. Okay. What is this? Siri said, life is speeding so fast. This is why I said, what was the Monday, that any of this like delay and I got to wait and now's not the time, unless you got a clear communication that it's not the time. Right. And like, you got to really be connected to get clear communication. Otherwise, folks be talking about ancestors said something that your ancestors didn't say. Your ancestors, and which ancestors are you referring to? Recent ancestors or ancient ancestors? Be clear. let me continue. So Saint Tropez, I was there for like a week, then flew to Miami because remember I got my sister an all expense paid trip for her birthday. Flew her to Miami. We got a top floor hotel with a view of Miami and South Beach, and she was waking up like this is what you get to do for people in your family. She was in the room because I was downstairs and she went upstairs and she opened up because we had ceiling to floor windows in our room. And she was in front of I walked in, it was nighttime. I walked in and she was like, I want to be wealthy. Like, you know what that felt like for me as a big sister to walk, invest, have the money to invest in a flight to my sister to come to Miami for her birthday. And for her to sit in this and to then receive the frequency, to receive the nourishments of being on the frequency, intimately, right? And for her to, be like, I'm ready for wealth for myself. That's what you can do for your family, for your friends, people who you care about. Is that important to you? Would somebody like to share that in the comments? Is that important to you to be able to buy things for your mom, for your sister, for your whoever, your godchildren, your right? Is there somebody that you wish to buy gifts, show your love through gifting them? Does anybody have a particular person they'd like to share in the comments? Hi, Angelica. I'm just seeing that. And who else did I miss? So, Miami. Hey, you guys. Like, I'm here. I am sharing life changing gold. It benefits me. It feeds me to be able to feed you when you engage with me here. Not just sit here with an open mouth and an open hand and there's no reciprocation. That's out of spiritual law, by the way. Specifically for those of you who come here often. That's out of order. So when I ask a question and you have an answer, please share it. It benefits us all. If you'd like me to continue coming here, because people care, they engage, they have questions, they call and response. That's alive. That I'm like, yeah, I'm happy to be here. When I ask questions and you guys don't answer, I'm like, what? Hi, God by design. Siri said, that is important to me. I desire to share the frequency. Yes. With who? A Siri. So we finished that trip. Matter of fact, it just came up in my memories like, can I put a picture? I'm not going to get too crazy with this. But I just got a picture of my memories of my sister and I in Miami during her birthday that weekend. And I just texted to her. So that was glorious and fun. We had so much fun. So those are memories we'll always have. And then I left straight from Miami to where? My one-way ticket to Italy, summer of 2015. That was supposed to be a 7-week trip. That entire 7 weeks, it was me deepening into my cells, deepening into my consciousness, my subconscious, deepening into my way of being that I have the power to create my reality. Look at what I created here. Like, this is why I'm so big on immersion, especially for those of you who have been around. You've heard me talk about immersion a lot. You've seen me selling opportunities to come immerse in France, to come immerse in Italy, why on long term and not these do-it-yourself $99 courses, which statistics say anywhere from 4% to 15% of people actually complete them. So that means out of 100 people, maybe 4 to 15 people or ish people, because the structure, the accountability, the fun, like all that matters. Environment matters. When borders open, I will be in France. I will be offering opportunities for those of you who are looking to change at core and permanent levels. So having more than enough is a first nature way of being. I will be offering opportunities for you to fly to Europe to work with me and others intimately, to be on the frequency, to deepen this into your memory, into your subconscious, into your cells, and into the way that you automatically react to things. So your automatic dealing with things is of a high way. Okay. So that 7-week trip, it was supposed to be a one-way 7 weeks, turned into me living between Milan and really all over northern Italy and Paris and the south of France for 4 freaking years. 4 years. This is what is possible for you. Now, let me look at some comments. There's a lot to discuss here. I'd like to discuss fear, and I'd like to discuss some things that like feature. I'll get to it. Just give me a minute. Let me look at these comments before I go on. Zelma, hi Zelma. I don't think we've ever met. I desire to share the frequency. I listen to you all the time. Well, wonderful. I don't think we've ever met, or have we? Remind me if I'm forgetting something. Share with any and all that I encounter in my life. Loving journey, my friends, family, and passersby. I just want to be a beacon. I think you already are a beacon, Asiri. I think you're already a beacon. Is there more? Because if that's it, you're already doing it. So what's next for you, Asiri? So fear. What time is it? Oh my God, we've been here for 40 minutes already. Fear. So maybe I won't be able to go as far into this as I was thinking. I told you guys I have infinity. You think this is something? All right. So part of the reason why melanin sovereignty exists is to tear at and what's the word? Trend a lot of the deep conditioning that exists in the psyche of melanin folk that I was really able to witness closely when I moved to Houston, Texas. So the truth is, deep down, a lot of us don't actually believe, and it's because of what we've inherited. Many of us, for some of us, it never penetrated our cells and our DNA. Varying degrees. This is deep and scientific, and so there's so many different ways to go, and I'm making sure not to go too far down the rabbit hole. But the understanding that I have around in the transformation space, the ones who make it and the ones who don't, because the transformation space requires that you be powerful. It requires that you be authentic. There's no way you're going to win and stay winning if you're inauthentic, if you are, out of integrity. It just doesn't last. So it's like the one industry or one of a few industries where authenticity is demanded. High frequency is demanded, and so anywhere that's corrupt within a human psyche is going to be forced to clean itself up when you're working in the domain of transformation. And so when I look at why so few, like I can count on one hand how many of us who are melanin, Black, transformation space who have crossed 7 figures. I can count on one hand. Meanwhile, I can use my feet multiple times and my hands multiple times to count the number of white transformational leaders who I know have crossed the 7-figure mark. Why? How is that so? Well, one, if we just want to get down to brass tacks, the industry has been dominated by white people since they figured out how to make money in it. All right. And we can go back further than what's been documented. Right. But just for a timeline, we can start with Think and Grow Rich. Right. That was written in the early 1900s. And Napoleon Hill was not a rich man who wrote that book. That's a whole story about you don't have to have it to teach it. You know, right? You can be on the frequency. He interviewed people, and there's even debate about did he really interview these people? Did he do that? But didn't his book sell millions and millions and millions of copies? See, that's a whole other conversation about it's all about what's going on in the head. Okay. So godfathers of the industry as we know it now, Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, Zig Ziglar, right? And the men who mentor, the white men who mentored them, right? So the industry has been dominated by white folk. And so now you got, and we've seen, for those of you who have been paying attention in the industry, we've seen many of the white leaders who have extracted from indigenous folk of different kinds and then repackaged it to make it more modern, to make it more digestible. And in that, it loses a lot of its depth, it loses a lot of its truth, gives partial truths. And meanwhile, folks that look like you and I, who have original venom, the original wisdom, the original intelligence, are left out. Volition, like we don't even realize this is happening. Meanwhile, because it's always been this way, where whites dominating, it continues this way, where we have the power to within ourselves to come forth and bring what we have that's original. Like, okay, that just what I just said to me. I feel the profundity of it, like the wildness of it. And in doing that, energetically, this is what's happening. So much is happening energetically. In this reclaiming your position as a master, as a melanin, like reclaiming your position as a person who even walks around with high carb, high technology wrapping your body, right? And dealing with the complexity of, wow, I'm profound, and wow, I also live in a culture that where many people view me as insignificant and inferior. Like the paradox inside of the brain of a melanin individual, inside of the psyche that triggers all kinds of fear, right? The and this is why you coming into melanin sovereignty is so important, because when you decide, okay, that your first package is $5,000 or whatever the thing is, and you go to make yourself visible in the marketplace, in whatever way you choose to do that, right? Because at Melanin Sovereignty, we teach you to create a model based on who you are, not like everybody do the same thing. It doesn't work. When you start to really put yourself out there and you're starting to retrain your subconscious, and you're starting to shift your reality to go from I can't afford it to more than enough, there will be a war between the part of you that knows you're immensely powerful and the part of you that has inherited this inferior way of thinking and being at a deep subconscious level. And when you are trying to do this alone behind your computer, and like, tell me if you've been guilty of this. Like, you think you can go to YouTube and like binge a bunch of things and like get high enough to go, "Ah, I'm gonna go do it now. Oh, I'm excited enough. I'm gonna go do it now." Is anybody else guilty of that? Trying to psych themselves into a $5,000 deal, trying to psych themselves into a 10,000. There's a place for that. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for that. But remember, I'm not talking about doing it like many of your average coaches are teaching you to do. I'm talking about core, lasting, permanent change, where this is your first nature way of being in perpetuity, not just this year, not just because you want to feel the thrill of your first 10,000. What about next month? What about 6 months from now? What about a year from now? To the point where you have a level of neutrality over money, where you don't even get excited about $100,000 because, oh my God, I got $100,000 client. You get excited about that 100,000 because now you can invest in that damn house in Costa Rica and in Jamaica to be able to open up your centers for your vision. You're not even moved by it the way you used to be because you've grown so much and it's a normal way of being now. Is this making sense? You see? So the fear is common, it's predictable, and it's so what? It's so what? It's like, and I'm telling you, you have what it takes. This is not me like right? Because I used to like prior to 2014, 2011, 2012, 2013. It was me just like inspiring. My brand was Billion Dollar Courage. It was me just like working from like trying to psych people up because I was still trying to psych myself up in a lot of ways, right? It was like, you can do it. I was like a cheerleader. I was like, man, I would really like for you to do it. I'm trying to let you know you can do it. I'm encouraging you can do it. And now I'm like, you can do it because I've done it. Like I really know you can do it, and I can show you how to do it. The best part, I can show you how to do it. I can show you how to package for profit, which, by the way, inside of the 5-day Money Vortex, that's where we're going into. What are you actually selling? By the way, what are you actually selling? Number one, and how to package it for profit. So I can show you all the business stuff, how to package for profit, how to articulate through words the actual value, how to get yourself on the frequency, how to handle rejections from others and within yourself, how to handle marketing, what really is style, what's exciting for you, how do you actually want to serve your clients, what will your packages look like, meaning how long will they be, what will be the price, why does this even matter to you, who are you, what work are you doing in the world, why, like all of that. Hey, Cynthia, all of that matters. All of that I can help you with. All of that I've been doing for years. And let me say this, I think this is important for you guys to know. So my millions were built boutique style. So there's different business models. There's no one size fits all. Mine has been boutique style. So what that means is I have chosen to be obscure, and there was a lot of pride around being this obscure, high paid coach that nobody knew and only a small group of people knew. And the people who they told, and the few people who were willing to lean into my market, like, right? And so I was boutique, so working with a small group of people at higher prices. Okay. So working with me was anywhere between 15,000 and 100,000, right? So a lot of the way I talk sometimes is through a boutique lens. That doesn't mean you have to do that. First of all, you could do one-on-one at a low, most of you will be doing this anyway, like one-on-one at a smaller level, like maybe $1,000 to work with you, except unless you're just ready for the more. But then there's some of you who are on some level ready to do group. I've never been big on group, like these 200 people coaching program. Now, I'm not saying I'm averse to that now. And we'll see how large, because the nature of the work that we're doing is so core. Most people don't really want to do core level work. At least not my level of core, right? Your level of core could be something totally different. But most people are not willing to become so refined, be so honest, willing to burn. And I don't mean like in this what do you call those people? Martyr kind of way. I mean, where you don't run from anything, where you allow yourself to become the diamond in the fire for a higher purpose. You understand what I'm saying? It's all for a higher purpose, where you stay in the middle of anger and upset while asking yourself the bigger questions so that you move through the anger and you come out better. Right? Where you go through some frustration and tired and wanting to give up while continuing to ask the higher questions. So when you come out on the other side, you're higher, right? Where you make the mistakes and you feel confused and you still go and listen for right high prayer. And when you come out on the other side, right? It's just like everything opens you up, your way of being, your way of thinking, versus going through something and it hurts and I don't want to and I'm tired and I'm afraid and then you just go to sleep and you give up and then we don't hear from you. See? And that's what most people do, no matter their race, when they're out there in the jungle trying to figure it out. Then when you're black, it's just like, fuck, you're dealing with all the natural human shit. Then you're dealing with modern day internalized racism. I mean, that's a whole other, you understand what I'm saying? Okay. The law, spiritual law states that if it's in your heart, it's already done. That's also the meaning behind what you guys saw was posted the other day about don't intend, decide. When you decide, it's of the heart. It's of the heart, which means it's already done. So, what questions do you guys have here? I'm getting ready to look at some comments and I'm getting ready to wrap up. All right. A series said I'm excited about the 5 day money vortex. Hey. Asiri, I noticed you didn't answer the questions. I thought maybe you were going to go back and get to it. Sometimes people do that. For those of you who choose to join the 5 day money vortex, there are some questions that you must answer for us to get a better understanding of who you are. Because the 5 day vortex is an interactive thing. You will be required to get on camera. Okay. So it's not just you coming watching me, because the goal of the 5 day money vortex is to get you results where you become absolutely clear on what it is that you're selling and you packaging for profit. So therefore, you got to get very involved. So the questions help me to get to know you a bit more so that you get the results. Okay, let me read these comments. Dollars want me. Hey, never heard that one. Thanks for sharing. So many external distractions are happening on my end right now. It's ridiculous. Going to put out some fires. Yeah, there are a lot of distractions, dear. You are not alone. Um, my I've curated my social media feeds to be a joy. So sometimes I'm logging on there because I'm messaging somebody, a message, and it's like I just get drawn in. Like I logged onto Instagram this morning to post, and the first thing that showed up was Charlemagne in this hoodie that said, "My black wife makes me smile." Like, oh my God, what a beautiful distraction. You are welcome, Olivia. Mashika said, my first year in business, I was in a constant battle with myself. And is it, girl, Mashika, right? Because some people can keep going and it wears you down more. Like I know that feeling, right? You keep going, but God, you're tired and right. When you're inside of melanin sovereignty and you start with wherever you feel called to start. If the 5 day money vortex feels like the place to start, which by the way, we start next Monday. Hey, we start next Monday, next Monday, next Monday, next Monday. And today I'm going to be welcoming folks in. There's going to be a video I'm going to do inside of the 5 day money vortex with what you want to do next so that we get ourselves ready for next Monday. But inside of Money Vortex, a big part of the value is being inside of the structure. Please allow yourself to see yourself as more than just the black broke girl. As the, and I'm even are seeing yourself as that because this doesn't apply to all of you, obviously. I'm really talking to the deeper subconscious parts of you that feel like either you don't deserve or who's going to pay you that kind of money or um, what are you going to do for that kind of money or um, black girls don't deserve that or you're being greedy or who's going to pay that or fill in the blank, right? um, a lot of what we'll confront as need be, as necessary, is any kind of fear of white money, poor black identity. For those of you who already have white folks or other non-black folks coming to you for your services, for your wisdom, for your help, etc., that's a client base right there. Black folk have, and I'm talking industry, right? Coaching industry, but also as a whole, we're just starting to get into therapy. Like it's just starting to become okay for us to discuss therapy in the black. Right? So for many of us to be investing 5, 10, 20,000 in somebody else, alone a melanin person, like we're looking at it through our own lens. And I tell people all the time, do not put your bank account on somebody else. That's projecting. Just because you don't have it right now, you have not created it right now, don't make that mean the same thing for other people. You're policing other people's wallets. You understand what I'm saying? So, any fear of white money, any projecting onto people because you got that going on, all of that is being corrected inside of melanin sovereignty. This money thing is easy. And I could go on and on and on, and I feel myself about to, so I'm gonna kind of like pull back here. This money thing is easy. All the ideas about it being hard, all the even a lot of the women who I see who are selling $29 courses to you, $29 courses, $69 courses, $129 courses. They don't even believe that they can serve you at a deep level in a lot of ways. And that's why they sell you $69 courses, market it to you well, and you buy it. And where does that leave you? With another course that's unfinished, not much further than where you started, definitely not any core lasting change. Melanin sovereignty, we are doing what is unprecedented. I know that this is possible for those of you who know that it's for you, who know that more than enough is for you, and you are ready to make that a reality in your life in this lifetime, not some future heaven, heaven now of your own creation. And so you are willing to get dirty, to get uncomfortable, to have uncomfortable conversations, to work through your own shadow relationship with money, to work through your own demons, to get intimate with where nothing and nobody has any power over you, where you develop strong wealth consciousness, to where the high right way of being becomes your first nature way of being and just normal, where it's no longer, where we're not even talking about this money thing anymore. Like, I don't even have people who come to me and say, I can't afford it anymore. Like, we don't even do that over here. I'm talking about it now because I recognize this is what's required for you now. Like, if you're not selling whatever your thing is, that's all work that could be corrected inside of you. And so you're going to have to decide different, live different, do different, choose different. And here at Melanin Sovereignty, we are with you. We will support you in being the first to do these things that are new to you. New to you. Your family, friends, some of them will get it and will support you, and some of them won't. I don't know who you're around. I just know that for me to get to where I've gotten, even between like 2014 and just like that first year when I decided I was going to make service and money equally important, just that first year, the level of war and back and forth and being willing to keep going, being willing to invest money, just going. That's what you're going to have to do, darling, and you can do it. You can freaking do it. I'm just amazed, really. Like, I'm here as like the leader, but I'm amazed. Like, I'm honored. I'm amazed. I'm like, look at what we're doing. Look at what we're doing. Nobody is teaching from a spiritual perspective with spirit and money, your signature intelligence, packaging it, talking about core and permanent change, bringing you into your high right identity, showing you how to do it. Like, what? What? Like, give me, put I care in the comments if you care about this. Just put I care. If you care about what I just talked about, like, if what I just shared about uh, harmonizing spirit and money together, right? Teaching your signature work and making a shit ton of money through your signature intelligence, turning to your high right identity, right? Teaching through a spiritual lens, embodying universal law, upping as your first nature way of being. If you care about that, put I care in the comments. The Bible is limited, you guys. There's a lot of benefit and value in the Bible, and it's limited. We are talking about the quantum realm here. In the quantum realm, speed is normal. Speed, meaning you say 10,000 today, and you can give yourself a week just to give yourself a week because your human self got to get with it, right? The only thing that could ever stop you is your human self. One person put, I care. When I, oh, what is this? When I start talking about a maid and a cook, girl, you speaking my language. Yes. When I start talking about a maid and a cook, my family get offended. Girl, that's why I'm so proud of melanin sovereignty and what we are creating. And let me be clear, we are in the infancy stages of this. Melanin sovereignty was born like what, a month and a half ago? I have been doing this work for almost a decade, but melanin sovereignty is born this year. I'm bringing to you guys everything that I've learned being in my fancy 30,000, 50,000, $10,000 coaching program, being in this industry, watching what's classic and lasting and what is a trend, getting my heart broke, getting betrayed, making tons of mistakes, cultivating relationship with money and what I'm bringing all of that into melanin sovereignty and teaching it through the lens for melanin folks. Like this is a big deal. For those of you who are on YouTube, none of you have said you care. Then why are you here? Tell me why you're here. If you don't care, if you don't care about what I did share, tell me what you do care about. Let me look at these. Hey, Monique. Mashika said, surrendering and getting tired of living in lack. Girl, it's out of order. Spiritually, it's out of order. It's spiritually out of order to be in that kind of lack or any kind, right? That keep me going. Wait, surrendering and getting tired of living in lack that keep me going because I knew there was something more out there for me. What keeps you going? I think I might be missing something you're saying here. When I, yeah, okay, let me see what else we got going here. YouTube, holla at me. What's up? I'm sweaty. I get so alive getting into spiritual truth here with you guys. It just wakes me up so much. And I'm okay, I'm wrapping up now. It's really time for you guys to start having results. Results. Really time for you guys to start having results. My white peers and white colleagues, etc. When I look at why more of us are not winning, just so much of what white supremacy has embedded in us a long time ago is still having its way. And so it's going to take us intentionally going against what may be in us on a subconscious level, like working in silos. There's so many of us like working separately off in a corner by ourselves, watching each other. You know, I know there's people who don't watch live, but they come and watch the replay because they're kind of like sneakily, like, we're not going to get to the yacht life like that. Watching on the sidelines, and here's the thing, I think some of us subconsciously, because we have not seen us in the transformation space, we don't even see ourselves investing with a black leader, but we will feel more comfortable investing with a white leader. If that's the case, go do it. I mean, I'm happy to see you win. As a, like, it's so important for us to see each other winning financially. So go hire somebody. Just the watching on the sidelines and showing up here on a video, or even not saying anything, but just showing up, watching a bunch of videos out in YouTube land and Google land and wherever, but not getting real results that are lasting, where money shows, right? That's not my thing now, but I went through some years where I was like, show the money, show the money, show the money. So every time I bought something, every time I ate somewhere, every time I took a trip, showing, every time I was on a flight, it was So for some of you, like I would like to see that from you, showing your money. So other people can be inspired more, because the more we see ourselves, the more we'll see ourselves. Right? Because somebody will get inspired by seeing you on a flight today and then another flight in 2 weeks because you went to Europe for a month and you decided to start in Vienna and you were in Vienna for 5 days or wherever your thing is, right? Then you decided to fly over to London and they get to see you because you're showing pictures of your meals and you're showing pictures of all this cute dress that you just bought in. Maybe you went to Budapest, right? You're showing a picture in Budapest and you went to Greece and you're right because you have created this money, right? Or something else you bought, or you paid off some debt, or like whatever the thing is, but intentionally working against by saying yes to your heart, working against the internalized self-hate that too many of us are like secretly, maybe we haven't admitted it out loud, but we know it. Um, Internalized racism and like really open up yourself up to investing large amounts of money with melanin folk and receiving large amounts of money from melanin folk. So you see how unprecedented this is? What I'm talking about is we are the first, when I say we, I mean me and you, first to do this, right? Where we start having this be normal. Like we're changing the game. We're changing the game. And it's not going to happen with just me. It's been just me. And they may, I mean, people have watched from a distance, but has that created any core lasting change in their life? No, because you got to do the work. People see me and they're like, man, it's awesome. And, I've had Black women say things to me like, I'm so glad you weren't trapped by this whole Black scarcity thinking and Black scarcity consciousness, or gosh, Naomi, it out, or gosh, I wish so many of us would, you know, start to realize that we can have more and like act like it, right? Where we can see, because when you come up to the frequency that I'm talking about and it becomes your first nature way of being, people can see it, people can feel it. Abundant things show up at your door. Abundant ideas, you feel like you have the energy to act on them. You don't just have all these downloads and all this, but then you don't act on it. You see? So much is possible here. So much. And at Melanin Sovereignty, we're showing you how to make that, like that moment I had in Saint Tropez. We're showing you how to make that real in your life, where the thing that you have been like, I can't afford it, and no, and all that, that you have it and you feel the ecstasy and the euphoricness of, oh my God. Then, where you make, oh my God, normal, where more than enough is normal. Can you just please imagine that? Let that be your homework. Just imagine that. There's no, in universal language, lack is not even a thing. Like, that's where we're tapping into. That's where we're going here. So come into the 5-day money vortex. Start there. If that feels like petty and small and you almost feel like, Naima, how dare you, right? Meaning you're ready for more, right? And you know that the 5-day is just a prelude to something bigger, right? Because you ain't new to this. You know what's up. You know what's coming. And you're like, Naima, yeah, I'm ready for the richness and the electricity of working privately with you. I'm ready to go deep, man. I am ready, and I'm ready for speed. I have so many stories of clients who, never even made more than 5,000 or 3,000 in a month, and in 10 days did 14,000. Now, given these are people who are already working with clients, right? So it's not like they were brand new and started doing that, even though that is possible too. Those are exceptions, by the way, typically. But maybe you're an exception. Are you an exception? That's not my call. That's your call. Are you an exception? I've had clients who were struggling trying to cram a year's worth of material into a 3-month contract. Oh my God, trying to put every kind of transformational tool and consciousness way and mantra and everything into a 30-day thing with a $5,000 price tag. Work with me, got in order with, if the heart says it, it's already done. working from a place of desire, being in the accountability and the structure of a coaching program, and start selling $15,000 packages like it was nothing, where it became normal. That's what we're doing here. Like, we're in the end. Like, meaning when you're working from a place of manifestation, you work from the end. So if the goal is 50,000, we work from that. It's already done. Every action that you take. When I was working on having my first $50,000 month, it was by month 2, when I normally would have quit, by month 2 I was like, where is it? It's here. Where is it? Where that's how you start thinking and act. All this lower nature, girl, done. Done. Come inside of a community, build up this community, be a part of making this a normal, to where a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, we are so loud in the marketplace where people know, or we magnet, or changing the relationship and the relationship melanin folk have with spirituality and money. Their signature work through the lens of spirituality and money. That's what we're doing here, Melanin Sovereignty. This is much bigger than money. Oh my God. Okay, enough. Enough. You know, when you guys ask me questions and say things, then I can speak directly to things. So I'm excited about that in the Vortex. So, and when you request to join the Vortex, where the link is with this video for you to request, there's going to be questions there. Okay. And so answer those questions so we can start to get to know you. YouTube, I want to hear from you more. Answering your question about what kept me going. All right. All right. Thank you. See you soon. Mwah. The frequency of these videos is going to change. There's something coming. I feel it coming. Not quite sure what that is yet. It's coming. You're welcome, Asiri. You're welcome. Thank you guys so much for interacting, for asking me questions. I'm helping to build up Melanin Sovereignty. Please share this video right now. Please share. It makes a difference. And I will see you soon. Thank you so much. Yeah.